comedy podcast. Comedy podcast. Get your ass ready for a comedy podcast. About roadway deaths. About roadway deaths. About roadway deaths. About roadway deaths. Comedy podcast. Comedy podcast. A certified motherfucking comedy podcast. About roadway deaths. About roadway deaths. About roadway deaths. About roadway deaths. Get yourself together. It's a certified fucking good time. Yeah. All right, Gooners and Goonettes, welcome to the Gooncast. Welcome to the Goon Cave. It's your head Gooner, Gooner McGoober, and my assistant Gooner, Horny Joe.
Good evening.
No, it's a transportation safety podcast. You might not be able to tell, but this is a transportation safety podcast brought to you by two, perhaps not qualified, but well-intentioned and informed people. I'm Ben Carnero.
Depends on what you count as a qualification. We certainly live in a world where that seems to be a changing landscape. And yeah, we're well-intentioned. We mean the best. We hope you can get a few laughs and hopefully be a little safer. I don't know. I'm Lucas Riley.
The harsh reality is that these systems of designing new roadways and new neighborhoods have little to no empirical backing in safety research. So there's just the people with qualifications are dealing in fake science. And the people without qualifications I think we're the real ones. I think we're the heroes that America deserves.
Yeah, and I think it's worth
kind of like 9/11 first responders.
Sure. Yeah, we're just like them. We're doing equally as important a service to our community by making this podcast. I think that's fair to say. But yeah, I mean, you're touching on a really, I think, key part of this, which is that the science that is held up to support this type of development and culture is hokey, and it is really just a means to enforce the interests of capital.
Yeah, and keep the black man down.
Yeah, the things that all go hand in hand. From the legacy of redlining to the development of the freeways and the destruction of neighborhoods, it's all tied to that. When you see a Waymo go by your house in Austin, Texas, it's because of redlining.
Waymo! That's what I say when I see one.
Waymo!
Waymo! Waymo! Waymo! Let me in! I say to the lady in there, let me in! Let me in, I want to take a ride! Waymo!
Waymo.
The sickest thing about Waymo is that it won't try to hit you. So, like, a person will dare you to die. Like a normal person, like a normal, regular fucking person, if you want to cross the street, they won't stop. Like, they'll just say, if you want to cross the street, you'll die, and that's your fault. But the car will stop no matter what. Like, the car behaves the way that people are supposed to.
It's
which
programmed
is insane.
to follow the rules.
It's like such a stark difference. It's impossible to not notice.
And
it really makes you think about the design. It makes you think about like average everyday people displaying completely antisocial tendencies the minute you get them in a car.
Yeah, and I mean to the
like,
point
yeah.
that you continue to make, and we got into it last week looking at some of the all-time greats of traffic violence as pulled from Roadway Report, but a lot of people will intentionally also go after you and try to kill you. Like, vehicles can be used as intentional weapons, and I think we will see a lot fewer mass death incidents because of Waymo and things like it, but it won't solve much of our problems in terms of I think the cultural impact of how roadways like the ones that kill people also divide our communities. People
don't get it. People don't walk, and it's because these fat fucks don't walk.
It's people don't get it, and it's because they don't go outside ever. If they go outside, it's because they drove there. It's staggering to me.
And it's not necessarily their fault. It's the world that they've found themselves in. But we are at a place where we need to convince people to choose to do otherwise, instead of trusting in the electrical car revolution and the autonomous vehicle revolution, quote unquote. People need to take back their communities.
Waymo's here. Waymo's here to stay.
Ain't no Waymo in Denver.
I mean, there's no going back, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, we're seeing it here in Austin before pretty much any other city other than the Bay, I guess. And it's like, it's clearly better. It's very, very clearly a marked improvement over A plus tank equals transportation system. And that's with, like, computer programmers being as dumb as they are. Like, you go to a website now and it just doesn't work. And that's the same guy who's who's writing the Waymo software. It's the same
Code
dude.
Monkey.
Waymo.
Ain't no Waymo in Denver.
Yeah, no Waymo. That's what you say when you don't want people to think you're gay.
Is that right?
No Waymo.
No Waymo. Has anyone been piloting autonomous personal conveyances, like autonomous bikes and scooters?
No. Hey, what about bringing back no homo?
You want to bring back no homo, no Waymo?
No, we should just bring back no homo,
Why?
so people know. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's been reclaimed in that fashion. I think that's how, like, it works now. It's like taking that journey.
Yeah, man. No, it's like, I think it swings. The pendulum of casual racism swings back.
Does
and
it?
forth.
I mean,
And
it
the realm of acceptability, swings with it.
well, it definitely does, and it doesn't help when the Supreme Court behaves the way that it does, and the executive branch of the government behaves the way that it does, and the legislative branch of the government behaves the way that it does, to reinforce that pendulum swing and rob people of their human rights. And I know that that's slightly different than casual racist and sexist and homophobic humor, but those are signs of a larger pendulum swing, which I guess is part of history as well. But in terms of America, it's been sort of a long and steady tradition of white supremacy and ecological through gendered domination by men.
Yeah, baby. And we'll do it, and let's do it again. This time we're doing South America.
Yikes, pretty much.
Don't think we forgot about you, Central.
A lot of Central and South American countries are American proxy states. I mean, the Supermax, essentially concentration camp that exists in El Salvador is an American experiment. Like, it would be disingenuous.
Yeah, I've been sending my Bitcoin there. I've been sending them my Bitcoin to put more Americans in foreign prison. Stacking sats with the boys.
Yikes.
Yikes. This is a right-wing podcast. We are an offshoot of Alex Jones. We are his disciples. We're like his sick little rodent pervert disciples.
I mean, there's like definitely something to be said for the right media's playbook, because they've dominated the airwaves and the influence of Americans. Like,
I think they've dominated the narrative.
Yeah.
They've dominated the narrative. It's every conversation, every piece of discourse is just too ultra right wing competing views.
Yep. That's pretty much it. And then there's these like dinosaur legacy media operations that sort of play like interference, but not very well. And then they get flagged. And then the ball is at the 5-yard line. And then the fascists run it in.
Did you see what the fucking Secretary of Transportation said about bike lanes?
No, enlighten me and the listener.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up.
This is good. I wanted to bring up bike lanes in this episode. I've been thinking a lot about them. I've been on my bike a lot, which is great, but I've been exploring new parts of the city and finding certain places where there are bike lanes and, looking at the resources, trying to find the best routes. And I'm excited to get into it on the bike lane. So you have to keep listening, listener.
Sorry, I'm just waiting on the internet. I'll edit this out.
Why your internet so slow?
Fucking annoying as fuck. Because I'm fucking stealing it from the fucking apartment complex next door, and I have been for the last 2 years.
Nice.
And every time I play Counter-Strike, I have to explain that to my team.
It's kind of amazing that you've created and built and continue to maintain several websites on borrowed Wi-Fi. It's pretty great.
It's like a $200 computer, too.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. Come on. Give it to me.
That's not the first time that Ben has shouted that at his computer today.
Siri, I miss you. Yeah, let's read. Okay, so this is the United States Secretary of Transportation. This is, for all intents and purposes, the king of executive transportation policy in America. I'm laughing. Of course he's on Fox News. This is every grandma and grandpa in America is getting this message, and all of this has already been internalized by decades and decades of intentional propaganda such as this. He says, "I'm laughing, but it's not funny," Secretary Duffy told Fox News on Thursday morning when presented with some New York City crime statistics. So if you include the pick, it's dangerous to ride in the subway. By the way, he continued, when they talk about congestion pricing, it's when they say it's working. It's working because they're raising money. That's why they say it's working. But congestion is horrible still in the city. That's because they're taking roads for buses and cars and they're making them bike lanes. Then he then blasted liberals. So when you take away lanes, you get more congestion. And when they complain about congestion, Duffy charged, it's just stupid liberals with stupid policies. The point being that unfortunately, that is the opposite. That is a direct lie. There's no other way to put it. I mean, unless he truly doesn't understand how it works as the head of transportation, unless the head of American transportation truly does not understand fundamentals of transportation and urban planning, then this is a bold-faced lie. And that's what it is. It's a bold-faced lie. When you take away lanes, you get more congestion. And then they complain about congestion, when in reality, you take away lanes and you get rid of congestion, right? The only way to make it efficient to move through urban space,
you induce less demand.
Only way to make it possible to get through cities is to take space away from cars. The only way to reduce traffic is to take space away from cars. The only way to reduce traffic is to take space away from cars. It benefits drivers. It benefits everybody. Everyone gets everywhere faster when you take space away from cars. And this is the head of transportation. We've internalized so many falsehoods culturally as the public about this stuff that the situation appears to be very, very dire. Sorry, I'll shut the fuck up. I just kind of wanted to hammer that home.
No, it is. And I'm sure that our listeners are, well versed in the subject as well. But when you add more lanes, I mean, it's the classic conundrum, right? You add lanes, it induces demand because people think, oh, well, they added, another lane on my route. It'll be fine to drive. I'll drive. That'll be the best way to go, thereby creating more automobile trips on that route, thereby decreasing the number of bike trips, walking trips, public transit trips, and making traffic worse. And then you go back to the drawing board and the model says, once again, well, we've gotten to congestion again. We should probably add another lane. In a place like Manhattan, this is a little bit different of a calculation than in a place like Houston, right? But this guy would have them knock down, I'm sure, historically black neighborhoods to build more freeways through New York City. Like, that's where this is going. It's a cultural dog whistle. Like, it's not about traffic. It's about making the world built for those that can wield the power of machines and that already have the freedom to get around, the freedom to do what they want. It's not about traffic. It's about inequality. It's about oppression. It's always been about that, and it always will be about that for them.
It's true, but you feel it when you leave the house. White people don't leave the house, but you do feel it when you get out there. It is an oppressive environment.
What do you mean? What do you mean white people don't leave the house?
Have you fucking met them? They don't finish their salad. They don't leave the house.
They never finish their spinach.
I've been serving like a fucking new type of white person at this new gig. God damn. They do not finish their salad.
Yeah, it's not big gumbo anymore, buddy.
When you're a busboy, when you're a busboy, you got to take the plates. The problem is sometimes people don't finish their fucking food. And so when someone cleans their plate, you take the plate. What if they don't finish it and just sort of poke at it for like an hour? When do you take the plate? The universal sign for taking the plate is when they put the napkin on the plate. But sometimes that's not even true. One time a lady grabbed my hand when I took the napkin. Fuck.
Well, she probably just wanted something else from you other than salad,
Yeah.
sounds like.
Waiter, is that bussy juicy?
Is that juicy bussy?
Bussy boys and gushy girls. It's the Gooner cast coming to you live from Austin, Texas.
From Studio 6-9.
Don't forget to pop that bussy.
Pop it.
Don't forget to pop that bussy.
We were talking about the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, and his willful ignorance about the last, 70 years of data that we have on traffic congestion and its causes and sources and remedies, and his positioning that it's the crazy wacko liberals who are just trying to generate revenue. But that is part of what governments have to do regarding transportation systems, which are government-provided systems to help people get around and use the city that they live in. They do need to recover money in our system from those things. Like, it's sort of absurd to criticize that as the Secretary of Transportation.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. The Supreme Court yesterday said that they can gut all of these executive branch agencies, and they can remake them however they want, which is terrifying because typically this is a process that takes years and years.
I mean,
they've had to go through any large-scale restructuring of the government, even the executive branch, required congressional approval because of the fact that Congress approves a lot of the funding that goes to those executive branches.
Right.
So
but however, it's like the money's always been appropriated by Congress and then administrated by the executive. And I mean, there's quite a bit of independent agency, I think, that the executive branch has to implement anything that the legislature funds.
Yeah, but not to fire like 80% of the staff and completely remake the structure of those organizations. It's like a function of institutional forbearance that the executive branch has practiced to share power with the Congress, which is the idea.
I'm just waiting for the Gooners to take the streets back. I don't vote. I don't watch the news. I'm just waiting for the Gooners to take back the streets, okay? That's my politics.
I don't know if the Gooners have ever had the streets.
The Gooners? Hey, whoa. People used to goon day and night in the streets. And now streets are for cars. Remember Diogenes?
It is interesting. I mean, like, it is something that you read material about cities from, the 50s and 60s, even like Jane Jacobs that's in a lot of that. She talks about one of the signs of, a city park, for instance, or a city public space that isn't serving people well, naturally becomes a den for like lurkers and people who are masturbating in the bushes because there aren't eyes on the park. So it becomes like a hideout for those places. It's like a safe place to exercise antisocial behavior. And that is like the fear, that is sort of the baseline of fear that they tell people, or that we've internalized, as you put better earlier in the episode. We've internalized this fear of public space when you have to operate it with your own body. It's not just the normality and the normalization of getting around in a car and using your car to go everywhere, but it's that it's inherently unsafe to get around without one because of social deviance. There's that like fear aspect that has been reiterated a lot. And it is something that if we are able to return to a world where people are more in person and less in their cars and seeing each other, we are going to have to deal with each other's quirks. We're going to have to deal with each other's smells and each other's social behavior and antisocial behavior.
Are you talking about a specific race, or are you just talking generally? Do you want to name drop any races, any undesirable races, or ethnicities?
I'm talking generally, but yeah, that's part of the messaging. You're exactly right. Like, you're gonna have to look people in the face that are from a different walk of life than you, that are a different race than you, that are a different sexual orientation than you. And for me, this is why I love living in the city, because I love seeing the diversity of life and the multitudes of realities that people are living. I love that. That's something I love about cities. And so many people have come to fear it deeply because of racism and sexism and just all this fear mongering, which is usually along socioeconomic lines. I get around Denver, Colorado, as the longtime listener is well acquainted with at this point. And I would say that there's like 2 roads on my side of town that I like to use the bike lanes. And then other than that, I much prefer to just be off somewhere in the grid, sharing the space with cars where there's double parking. The roads aren't super wide, so speeds are generally pretty slow. And then I know where to cross. I know like where the crossings are, where I have potential stoplights or stop signs to stop the big car moving streets. But like, I avoid a lot of the bike lanes because they've put in a lot of bike lanes in Denver. They're actually ripping some out. Our mayor is an absolute loser. But I'm just curious, what your take is on that in terms of like, what's a good bike lane? What's a bad bike lane? Like, what characterizes a bike lane that you avoid when you're biking?
Any street with more than 2 lanes is a potential threat to your health and safety. It doesn't
to your
really
life.
It doesn't really matter what it looks like. A median certain things help. A sidewalk helps. A median helps. Sometimes a shoulder helps, and sometimes it just makes the road wider. But like, I don't know, there's these 2 roads in Austin, like 360 and 620. And like really experienced cyclists will ride on them because there's pretty much a 6-foot shoulder for the whole like 40-mile stretch. But if you just don't ride there, you can't die. Like if you stick to the type of streets that Lucas is describing, where there's a lane of parking on each side, and there's no delineation in the middle of the street, and then there's maybe 20 feet of distance between the 2 cars parked, like that, no one will ever do faster than like 25 on that street. Even like the craziest shithead. And so you can, like, some people will get maimed on streets like that. Like, it's important to remember that you are always at risk, and you do have to be careful at all times. But so it's like, yeah, you can get your legs broken or your arms broken off or your your dick crunched. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you probably won't die if you avoid roads where people can go fast. It's really not that complicated. So let's just say that you have a choice of taking a road with like a protected bike lane, um, but it's still like a 6-lane road, um, or a road with no
Yeah, me
bicycle
too.
infrastructure at all, but there's no lanes and a lot of parking, and not much going on, like a low volume of traffic. I take the latter every day of the week, and I do in my daily life. Um, a good example of a busy road with a protected bike lane would be like Airport Boulevard, um, on the west side of I-35 in Austin. Um,
I remember when there was definitely no such thing like that on that road.
and then some really good bike streets with no bike infrastructure would probably just a great place to point as an example would be Hyde Park in Austin, Texas. That whole neighborhood, every street in that whole
Indeed.
neighborhood is safe
Lovely.
to ride a bike. Not a single inch of that neighborhood is you would let a kid ride a bike in basically every part of that neighborhood.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's a good litmus test, I feel like, is like if you would let your kid ride there, then it's probably pretty good for like nothing needs to be done, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can let your idiot kid run around unsupervised, then it's a good bike lane. And if you can't, then it's not. Because it's like if it passes that test, it also probably has a variety of other desirable characteristics, um, and like a much more vibrant feel, and livability to the space.
Indeed. And there's no way around it when you get into more highly congested areas, highly populated areas, places where, you know, there's large trip generating destinations, you know, like downtowns where there's stadiums and convention centers and office buildings and things like that. And that's, I would say, where, at least in Denver, I wish they would invest more money and time in the infrastructure, but that's exactly where they are removing bike lanes. They recently removed a stretch of bike lane downtown in the central business skyscraper district because a local steakhouse said that they needed more space for their valet, and so they chose to do that. These sorts of things are happening in Denver right now, and it's pretty disappointing. And I don't go to that part of town too often. There's really like, unless I'm going to a play, there's really no reason to go downtown. It's not like a nice place to hang out, like so many downtowns throughout the United States, where that in the era of redlining, we gutted the like middle portions of our cities and then stacked more and more skyscrapers into the center, you know, trying to build this radiant garden city, as Jane Jacobs put it. And instead, we created a world that was built exclusively for cars. And yeah, there's some nice architecture. There's some things to look at. I like Sakura Square. That's the right in the historic Japanese part of Denver. There's some lovely like legacy businesses that have been there for generations, and it's definitely a community center. You can feel that in that part of downtown, but it's tough. It's tough. They continue to throw money at the 16th Street Mall, which is our like downtown shopping district, which is, you know, Urban Outfitters and Target and things like that.
Yeah, but
at
it's
this
like
point.
a public street, right? It's like a big open public mall.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, they just redid it. I haven't really been down there since they redid it. But, you know, they're like, why won't anyone go downtown? Why don't people want to do it?
Well, while walking around in downtown Denver was like the shittiest experience ever. I couldn't believe how miserable it was.
Did you go downtown?
Remember, I had to walk through downtown from your house to get to the what's it called, the art district, the River North.
I wouldn't say that you
was
walked
just so
through
bleak.
where I'm describing.
That's true. But it's all that whole central city area is just so depressing.
Yeah, I mean, that's another part of the city, which is a disappointment. That's along Brighton Boulevard and is where they've built a lot of the new dense housing. And it is like bleak over there. It's a reclaimed industrial district. It was mostly warehouses. And they continue to build these, fancy apartment buildings so that they can entice millennials to come, and I guess Gen Z now, entice, 20-year-olds to come and move to Denver and live near the mountains. But they've built an insane amount of parking, and the infrastructure is not oriented towards getting around on a bike, on the bus, on foot. It's definitely a car-oriented place, and it's sad because the other part of that neighborhood is low-density residential, essentially, or maybe medium-density residential, and it's a historically Black and Hispanic neighborhood, and those people are getting priced out because of these developers who are trying to cash in on, convincing young people to move to Denver for 3 or 4 years and drive their cars to the mountains every weekend. It's definitely a different situation over there than the downtown, which does have some historic infrastructure and is, essentially a tight grid down there. It's definitely a different animal, but there's a lot of bleakness in Denver. I like to stick to my little pockets in East Denver and basically anywhere I can get on the trails.
Certain parts of Austin are really bleak and certain parts of Austin are really, really nice. I imagine Denver is very similar. The big chunk of the center of Austin is nice as fuck, and it's all pre-war. It's all like quiet streets, lots of trees. It's all young enough to just be single family homes, but old enough to be nice. So white people love it if they can afford it.
Yeah, I mean that's the majority of East Denver and the neighborhood that I live in.
Bike lanes. Build them. Government, build them. I want a bike. I don't want to drive. I don't want to burn oil. I don't want to be cucked by Venezuela, by the Saudis. I don't want the Saudis to have my nuts in a vice. I want a bike to work. You know?
I know.
The Saudi Arabians have my testicles in a vice grip, and I'm mad about it.
Yikes.
Yikes. I talked to that guy about how we might be able to make some money with this stupid fucking website. And he was basically just showing me that Roadway Report is like an abject SEO failure. If you Google Vision Zero, this doesn't even come up. And it needs to be like the second result. So we have some work to do in that department. But it's like the AI slop that the tool wants to generate to improve Roadway Report's SEO is like the rhetoric of lies used to rationalize mass death and injury. So that is like a drawback. I almost want to like use AI to churn out a bunch of bullshit and then dissect why it's propaganda. And then still have the keywords in there and still get like the keyword recognition, but
Sure.
not just churn out bullshit like all these Vision Zero organizations.
Yeah.
Going after education. Achieving zero traffic deaths requires a collaborative effort from community members, road users, and authorities to create safer streets and reduce collisions. Education and enforcement are key components of traffic safety initiatives, aiming to reduce traffic fatalities and severe injuries. This is so funny. It says it again. Requires overcoming challenges and obstacles is critical for achieving Vision Zero and reducing traffic fatalities, and requires a collaborative effort from community members, road users, and authorities. Oh my God. Common challenges include limited resources, lack of public support, conflicting priorities, all of which can hinder the implementation of the safe systems approach. By developing a comprehensive action plan and engaging with the community, cities can overcome challenges and obstacles and create a safer environment for all road users. It's all so abstract.
Yeah.
It's like we need to be using the language, make the road thinner, take away lanes, take away space from cars, take away public parking, make drivers wear a little dress, a little dress and a little hat.
Kidnap public officials.
Yeah, kidnap public officials. Find Gretchen Whitmer. Find her again.
We're gonna kidnap the governor.
Kidnap the governor. You've got to kidnap the governor, and you're gonna take back the streets. The Gooners won't be stopped. The Gooners will be free. That's the one. That's the one that gets this one flagged.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It costs just as much money. It costs the same amount of money to build a safe street as it does to build a shitty one. It costs less essentially, right? Like your
Of course.
person miles
especially
per
like a
dollar.
functioning transit system.
Your person miles served per capital dollar spent is much higher for a bike lane than for a car lane. Right.
Yep.
It's almost like every single choice we make is the worst possible one. It's almost like it's the least optimal expenditure of public funds. And the right wingers, when they get all butthurt about bike lanes, it's like, you guys are pissing away money because you're gay for Ford F-150s. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well,
You've been so cucked.
you don't even
Cucked
use
by
your
U.S. Steel and Big Rockefeller.
your truck to do anything.
That you can't
masculine.
see the truth for what it is.
You drive and you get your strawberry cheesecake blizzard or whatever. That, right?
Oh, they do, don't they? American love cheeseburger. Okay, here. So I'm gonna read you a thread from Reddit that I'm in a flame war on right now. And this is pissing me off. This is pissing me off. Psychopath behavior from Lincoln, Nebraska subreddit. I'm driving east on South Street. I'm coming up to that pedestrian crosswalk for the Rock Island Trail just before 33rd. There's a guy crossing and he didn't use the button to stop traffic and turn the flashy lights on and such. No problem, I'm thinking. I cruise so he can make it across and I don't have to stop. He gets to the other side and what does he do? He presses the crossing button.
Hell yeah.
Why? I already made it across, so it didn't matter for me. But there was no one else who needed to cross and he just kept walking. So I saw in real time some guy who takes pleasure in inconveniencing other people. I was baffled. Those poor cars a ways behind me would have to sit at that crosswalk red light and watch literally no one crossing. This guy is a madman. It's goofy, but I thought it was funny, and I'm actually so baffled that people like this exist. And so I comment, have you considered the extent to which he is inconvenienced by cars? And the OP says the answer is 0, and I say wrong, and then he says correct, and I say yes. And then someone else is like, he's not inconvenienced. Plus, it's his choice to walk. He doesn't need to take it out on other people. And I said to him, you clearly don't walk.
I do.
Everyone who fucking walks, every fucking person who leaves the house knows that cars are in the way 100% of the fucking time.
Well, and
fucking useless fucking idiots in their fucking cars are in the way and trying to kill me and wasting my time every fucking day. Every fucking day, everywhere I fucking go, you fat pieces of shit are in my fucking way, wasting my fucking time and trying to fucking kill me. So forgive me if sometimes I activate the hawk beacon just to inconvenience you for fun, because I am guilty of doing exactly this.
I mean,
I do this
every
all the
time every time I cross any street, and there's a beg button, I press the beg button after I've finished crossing the street to trigger the walk sign for the next
So the
cycle.
next person, because it doesn't trigger if you don't press it.
And so I always press it. In the type of signal that that he describes in the Reddit post, I probably would have done the exact same thing that this walker did. Which is
It's different there. In the instance of a hawk beacon, it's just sadism, right? It's fun, but it serves a real purpose on a regular crosswalk.
Yes. When there's a red light that's triggered, it's very different than a flashing yellow light, which like a majority of people won't stop at anyway if they don't see a person. Something
that really evidences to me that traffic engineering is a pseudoscience and not real, and you don't have to respect them. Is that when you are in Austin outside of downtown, so like there is a pedestrian section of downtown. It's 15 blocks by 15. It's like 1 square mile. If you're in the 379 square miles of Austin that aren't that 1 square mile, there are no pedestrian signals at any light. So if you don't press the button, you don't get a signal. So you'll see pretty much like something like 30% of pedestrians will not press the button and then not get a signal and end up waiting of like a a cycle and a half, right? Which is like 3 minutes. Every driver goes right away, and then a third of all pedestrians are waiting like 2 full cycles to cross the street. And it's the sort of thing that drives you completely fucking insane. And then people are like, "You're not inconvenienced by cars. You could just drive." It's like, "Fuck you, you stupid fucking piece of shit." Jesus Christ, I fucking hate drivers. I fucking hate you all. You're all fucking useless. You're all fucking useless. Just pull the wheel. Just pull the fucking wheel. Sorry.
I can't remember who it was, but I referenced pedestrian walk button triggering the walk signal as a beg button. And someone said, "Don't call it that." And I was like, well, but I mean, that's the best way to describe it. I'm asking someone in a massive vehicle not to kill me. I'm imploring them not to kill me by triggering this light. I am begging for the opportunity to cross the street instead of just exercising my autonomy. Like, I'm clearly the person who is out of power here.
Yeah, people.
I'm
Oh
begging.
my god, I could bitch all day about the stupid fucking language people use in regards to cyclists and pedestrians. Crazy pedestrians darting out into the street. Cyclists want to choose when they're a vehicle and when they're a pedestrian. Cyclists want to choose. They think they can do whatever they want. They think they can run red lights. They think they can run stop signs. I think you're a bitch. I think you should kill yourself. I think I fucking hate you. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Somebody in the passenger seat of an SUV. I was riding down like a quiet road with a bike lane in my neighborhood. And it's like one of the nicest streets to bike on. Like, I never have problems on that street. But I ran a stop sign because that's what you do. Like, there was no reason to stop. And I went through the stop sign, and the car like zoomed up past me after stopping at the stop sign. And someone in the passenger seat said, there's a stop sign there.
It's like, you haven't fucking walked anywhere since 2012. You miserable, obese cretin.
Pretty much. I said, well, if I run into something that's in the road, I'm not going to kill them. And then they
but it's because they don't get it. It's because they don't leave the house. They don't understand the power dynamic. They don't understand that bikes don't kill people. Scooters don't kill people. Pedestrians don't just die unless you hit them with a car. And the only people who are culpable at all for roadway safety issues in America are drivers. Drivers are the only people killing anybody. And no one else roadway safety is not, in fact, a shared responsibility. Roadway safety is the responsibility of drivers and drivers alone. And they fucking get annoyed that sometimes they have to slow down. Because they're forced to drive everywhere. That's the world we live in. They have to do it. What a pity, what a pity.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy world. So, stay safe out there. Look both ways. It's not your responsibility, but we do want to see you stay
definitely
alive.
Be safe. They will try to kill you. And then they'll go home and eat a donut about it. I fucking hate you. If you drive a car, I fucking hate you. Except my wife. Every single driver who's not my wife, fuck you. Honey, I love you.
My wife too.
Good shit. Good shit. The Gooners are coming. The Gooners are coming. Look out, government.
Look out, government.
Look out. Look out, government. The Gooners will be free.
All right, I'm cutting my recording. I don't know if you've still been recording.
Oh, I've been taping. We got to do a sign off before you cut it. Okay. Listen, guys, it's tough out there with the economy, interest rates, rent. I can't catch a break, and I know you can't either, because you're I'm poor. I don't know, man. It's hard out there.
Yeah, no, it is.
You go on everybody on Instagram is like, look at my watch, and I'm just like, I can't pay my rent.
Maybe you should get a watch, and then you'll attract the wealth that you are looking for.
I'm pretty sure the secret is to buy Andrew Tate's book.
Man, fuck that guy.
No homo.
Yeah, but
We're bringing it back.
listener, stay safe out there. Continue to do your thing. Let us know. Send us an email. Drop a comment. I don't know if that's even possible anywhere that the podcast is posted, but let us know. I mean, where do you like to ride your bike? Do you ride in bike lanes? Do you ride on the sidewalk? Do you ride through the fascist front yard on their green grass? Tell us.
Are you a salmoner? Because there's those people who will bike on the opposite side of the street,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of people whine about that. Like all this fucking dirt bags, all this bullshit pseudoscience about what is and is not safe. The only thing that's dangerous is driving. People will be like, you should walk on the opposite side of the street and you should bike on the correct side of the street. And it's like, you should just try to not get hit by a car. Like, it's really, really important that you try to not get hit by a car. Everything else is secondary and probably made up.
I think that's
Another one that really gets me is like, it's more safe to drive a little over the speed limit than it is to drive a little under the speed limit because you want to go with the flow of traffic. Remember that one?
Yep.
That's a normal one. Like a lot of people believe
That one's brain
No,
dead.
you're
That
like
one is
a lot
brain
more
dead.
likely to die.
Yeah, like there is a direct correlation between vehicle speed and likelihood of death, both to you and to anyone outside of the vehicle.
Basically, everything a driver has ever said is completely brain dead. It's like, we need more parking. We need more lanes. And it's like, oh my God, we need less you, bro.
Yep.
Go to the gym.
Yeah, but I think that's a good place to sign off. The most important thing is to not get hit by a car. So do that and do it for one more week,
Don't hit
and
anybody
you'll
with your
get
car.
another episode of your favorite podcast.
Well, actually, I'm moving next week, and my computer's going to be in a box.
Okay,
So
2 weeks.
I think we should
3 weeks.
safely say 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, man, don't let the homo government put you in a cage. You're going to be free.
Yes.
Don't let big homo put you in a box.
Wow.
Get out there and be free.
Wow. All right.
Wow. Revolutionary. You've been podcasted. You've been podcasted. You've been podcasted. We're taking it to the people. We're taking the Gooners to the streets. Dicks out. Hearts on our sleeves. Hearts on our sleeves. Okay, you're not even recording. I'm just riffing over here and you're not even recording. No, you're good. You're good. I love you, buddy. I'll cut out all the hateful, fatphobic, homophobic stuff, I promise.
Comedy podcast, get your ass ready for a comedy podcast about roadway deaths, about roadway deaths, about roadway deaths,
About roadway deaths.
comedy podcast, a certified motherfucking comedy podcast about roadway deaths,
About roadway deaths.
about roadway deaths.
About roadway deaths.
Get yourself together, it's a certified fucking good time. Yeah!